Ask most pet owners and they'll tell you their pets make them better people. That was certainly the case for Jim and Renee and their new pup, Jerry.
We went to a shelter to get what we thought was going to be a guard dog. And he turned out to be anything but. He was the most lovable, sweetest puppy. He was 6 months old.
Primarily German Shepherd. He had some white markings, so there was clearly some collie in there of some sort.
And like all pet owners, Jim and Renee could never imagine the journey that lay ahead. A journey that included a trip across the country and a book, Be More Dog. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Both Renee and Jim worked at home, but Jim traveled and expected Jerry to grow into a guard dog. Instead, he became their CFO. What is a CFO?
The Chief Fun Officer is responsible for reminding us to get up and go for a walk after sitting for hours on end.
As CFO, Jerry kept us sane.
Our CFO is Ghost, and we caught up with Jim and Renee while RVing in Michigan.
Hey, let's jump fast forward. All of a sudden, things changed dramatically for the three of you.
Sure, fast forward 8 years, and our little puppy had, grown up, and we were often hiking on weekends and going to the beach on Fridays. And one of our last hikes on part of the Pacific Crest Trail, we came back and he jumped out of the truck and let out a yelp as soon as he hit the pavement. I'll never forget it. It was just blood curdling.
They knew something was wrong, but repeated visits to their vet resulted in differing diagnoses, none of which seemed right.
We also learned about advocating for your dog because it was the only vet we had ever engaged with. And at the time, we didn't know you could question your vet.
Finally, another vet admitted to being stumped, and he told them,
you need to take him to UC Davis. So we drove 6 hours south to get a diagnosis, and what they told us just turned our world upside down. They said Jerry had osteosarcoma, a bone cancer that would kill him in about 6 to 8 months.
Up in his shoulder.
When we bring home a new pup, we know our life will never be the same. But this was heartbreaking. They were terrified that Jerry's life as a three-legged dog would be horrible. Then, Renee was looking at a YouTube video of a dog named Moose, and it changed everything.
Oh, what a good boy.
She gets to YouTube and finds this video of a giant three-legged Great Dane digging up a gopher moose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I looked at that video and I said, oh my God, if that dog, who was twice as big as ours, could be happy and do that kind of thing on 3 legs, then our little 74-pound dog sure could.
We decided like that if Moose can do it, Jerry can do it.
And sure enough, the moment Jerry emerged from surgery, he proved he could do it.
I thought they were going to bring Jerry out on a gurney with things attached and a stretcher and this and that. But he came hopping down the hall with his vet holding the e-collar for him. And the first thing I noticed was the smile on his face. His pain was gone.
They found the new Jerry was full of surprises.
The first time we went outside and we let him play in the yard by himself, and he ran up to his favorite toy and shook it and let out a big yelp and stumbled because he kind of forgot that all of this tissue was still healing. And Renee starts to run toward him, and I realized, just stop, let him be a dog for a minute. And he got up, shook it off, and kind of said, what? I meant to do that, and moved on. So it was adapt and overcome was one of the first lessons we learned.
And there were many more lessons to follow as Jerry led Renee and Jim on a journey across America. In part 2 of this story, I'll tell you about Jerry's amazing RV adventure and the book he helped write, Be More Dog. And I don't want to give too much away, but I'll tell you, Jerry lived a lot longer than that vet's 6 to 8 month prognosis. For Pet Pals TV, I'm Steve Sweitzer.